I'll call the meeting to order at 6:30, March 7th, 2022. Reminder to everyone, the meeting is being digitally recorded as we speak, so be aware of it as your comments are being made. And first thing we will do is an open session. Is anyone here for open session? Okay. Then we'll go to announcements. Katie, please. Thank you.
Alright, so we have a whole bunch of stuff coming up. April we have two events. First off, we have the town Easter egg hunt, which is always fun, and it's put on by Parks and Recs with the help of the Girl Scouts. They stuff the eggs and do the bunny and everything else. It will be on April 9th at 11 a.m. at the rec field with a rain date of the 10th. Bring your own basket or bag to collect your eggs. We'll do the 3 fields like normal to break up the kids so we don't have the big kids running over the little kids. But the Easter Bunny will be there for photo shoots, and it usually takes about 10 minutes once we say go, if that. So get there, make sure you're there at 11. And then we have on April 16th, Keep Hubbardston Beautiful Day, which I'm not totally sure what's going on with the dumpster and that part of it, but the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts are all lined up. The Girl Scouts will be doing a bottle and can drive, and the Boy Scouts will be doing an electronic recycling fundraiser from 8 to noon at the rec field. So I know that is definitely a go, and that is good to go. So regardless of what goes on with the Keep Hubbardston Beautiful full day, that will be there on April 16th. And there, no rain date, that is rain or shine. The next day is Easter, so that's just, is what it is. And then we have the Hubbardston Fair coming up on June 11th. With a rain date of the 12th from 9 to 2. I have been taking vendors, applications, small businesses, all kinds of fun stuff for that, lining up activities and bands and food trucks and such. So if you have a small business or you are a crafter or a vendor of some sort, feel free to get a hold of me. I will help you with getting you into some applications. And then we also have the Dinghy Dash is August 27th at 10 a.m. with a rain date of 29th. Field Day, I'm also taking applications. That is September 17th with the rain day the 18th from 9 to 3. That is with the Lions. And then I have a new one coming up, Non-Such Night, on October 8th. So save the date for that with the rain date of the 9th. That is Columbus Day weekend. And I'm thinking it's going to be from 4 to probably 9-ish. So we got some stuff going on. And then if you really want, I have the Hubbardston Light Fight dates on there too and applications. I got stuff all the way till next year. I'm good. I got everything good.
Is there a master list of all these things that
Yes,
you have?
on the town website, under special events, you can find information on all these, except for the Non-Such Nights. I haven't put all that stuff on there because I'm still kind of working out times and details and making sure I have everything proper before I upload all that information. But all the rest of the information is on there.
The reason I'm asking is I was thinking that for Memorial Day this year is going to be special here because of the
Yes.
unveiling of the Vietnam
Yes.
Memorial, and I think that should be on.
Yeah, I
the
usually
list
put that
with
kind of stuff on there. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I haven't put on the Easter egg hunt and the Keep Hubbardston Beautiful yet because the outhouse just sank, so I still have that information up there. So very soon though I'll be flipping it over to because they all have their own tabs unless it's like the oddball things like the Easter egg hunt and stuff like that. There's like a little that goes on the main page. But yeah, special events you can find all this information.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay, we'll go to the consent agenda. We only have one item on there. Does anyone have a hold on that for any reason? Any questions? It's a certificate of donation for the, which we were talking about prior to the meeting. Alright, then if not seeing any, I'll ask for a unanimous consent on the consent agenda. A motion?
I'd like to make a motion to have unanimous consent on well, there's only one item.
Yep.
So anyway, for the consent agenda, to have make a motion to approve that. As I said
Motion
that, like,
made.
really
Second.
difficult.
And second, any discussion?
No.
Okay, all in favor? Chris?
Yes.
Katie? Yes, okay.
Oh, is Heather here? Heather's here.
Oh, Heather, can you hear us? Can't hear you.
Hold on, give her a second.
Okay.
She might be muted. Can't hear you.
Can't hear you. I didn't realize she was there.
Yeah, no, I just looked up, and Susan's there too. Oh, she's got her hand up. She's like, aye.
Oh, okay, alright.
I hope that's an aye, Heather, with your hand up. No. Tony, talk. Can we hear you? Nope, we can't hear her either. So our volume is not on. It's on our side, yeah.
But they can hear us, so
They can
that-
hear us, but we can't hear them.
The computer volume is all the way up since maybe there's some other needs to happen.
We've had more trouble with this.
Well, I know, that's why, like, it just needs to be done, but Heather had a sick baby, that's why we have Zoom.
No, I don't mean that, I'm simply saying, the last 2.5 years, we've had more trouble with the Zooms.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's always an issue.
Alright, I think we got it.
Yeah, oh yeah,
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
yes,
Can you hear us now? Okay,
Can you hear me?
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, great, thanks.
Can't see you yet, but that was Susan, wasn't it?
yes, that's Susan.
Okay, sir, you just came in, and were you here, did you want an open session, because we,
No,
okay, cause we've already
just,
started.
finance.
Oh, okay, fine, thank you. Then we'll move to, new business, which is the, presentation of FY '23 with the Finance Committee. One point to make, is after talking to David earlier today, this booklet that we have, minus the school district, Monty Tech, and the Rutland dispatch budget, because they have not been submitted or done yet. Turn it over to you, Dave.
Okay, thank you very much. So please accept this document as the 2023 budget for the town of Hubbardston. This is the preliminary budget. It's based on the most recent estimates we have for revenues, and I've made recommendations for expenditures, and the budget is balanced. Revenues are $9,904,763, and that's matched dollar by dollar by the expenses of $9,904,763, leaving a balance of 0. The budget document is more than just a summary of planned revenues and expenses. It is a description of the goals and priorities of the community and an operational manual for achieving those goals and for providing the high-quality services that residents, businesses, and visitors have come to expect from the town of Hubbardston. The budget serves as a policy document. It serves as a financial plan. It serves as an operational guide, and it serves as a communication device in order to get the information that voters need from the page to them. The budget supports a municipal government that is focused on providing level services and aligns with the values and priorities of the community as expressed in the master plan, which is currently being updated, and other guiding plans, as well as guidance provided by community leaders such as the Finance Committee and the Select Board and others. The budget format and contents conform to the best management practices as recommended by the Massachusetts Division of Local Services, the International City-County Managers Association, and the Governmental Finance Officers Association. The budget is presented in the following order. First is an introductory letter giving a general overview of the town and the budget, followed by the People's Guide to the Budget, and just want to stop here for a moment and say that reading municipal budgets can be a little daunting for people who are not used to it, and so I've provided a People's Guide to guide people from their general questions down to the specific answers. It respects their time and their attention and gets them to the place in the document that they need to go in order to make informed decisions about their tax dollars and how we spend them.
Alright, hold on, before you take another breath,
Okay, let me
does the finance committee need to,
interrupt
yeah,
now, the finance committee needs to open their
There you go.
meeting, I'll call
That's what I was about
the
to
meeting
say.
to order, cause we have a quorum. So I'll call the meeting to order at 6:41 PM. Please continue.
Okay. Following the People's Guide to the Budget is the letter of transmittal to the Select Board, Finance Committee, and Capital Improvement Planning Committee, in which the goals and objectives are discussed, and the free cash spending plan and the debt management and taxation are all discussed, and that's starting on page 15. Section 2 presents the revenues and expenditures in aggregate. There are 3 tables for the revenues, the taxation, the local aid, and the local receipts. And those expenditures are broken into topics: government, public safety, education, public works, human services, culture and recreation, debt, state assessments, and unclassified. Total expenditures from FY '22 to FY '23 are projected to be 1.75%. Free cash spending plan is presented on page 38, and it hits all the goals that the town has made planned for itself. That is to say that there's no free cash being used for the recurring budget. Free cash is reserved for capital items, so the entire capital plan of $427,000 is funded with free cash. There's $100,000 that is either put into stabilization or just held on to in order to provide a basis for next year's free cash. And there's a surplus of $102,000 of free cash for other purposes. Again, this all aligns with the town's long-term spending plan for free cash. Section 3 contains the detailed budgets for each department, and each department is described before getting into the numbers. Since we're talking about a level services budget, it's important for us to think about what does the department do? What are its chief functions? What is its mission statement? So that information is presented, and that starts on page 39. I've separated out from the detailed budgets the education budgets and have given them their own section, section 4. And that includes comments on existing and future debt service for the education. Section 5 contains the unappropriated expenses. These are state assessments that are taken out of the town's budget without town meeting votes, so this is a special category of expenses. Section 6 contains the community profile, a glossary of terms in order to clarify such mysteries as enterprise funds, free cash, debt service, and then it's followed by a section on financial policies in order to understand the framework in which the decisions that went into making this budget were referenced to. Section 7 on page 86 contains the capital plan summary, and the final section, section 8, contains information about the long-term financial condition of the town of Hubbardston. Please take everything under advisement. This is the first time you're seeing these numbers and this document. I expect that you'll have many questions, and I'm happy to answer any of them whenever you're ready to deliver them.
Thank you, Dave. Does anyone have any questions for David as he just went over everything with you?
Not at this point.
Cause there's no action that we're gonna be taking on this
No,
tonight.
No, I need to do some reading.
It's
Lots of
excellent, it's an
reading.
excellent presentation.
Yeah, no, I already can tell it's spot on.
It sure is,
It's nicely done.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice. It's
incredible.
very professional, very pretty much
I
self-explanatory.
came in tonight and I congratulating them, and I said, this is like
Yeah,
a
no.
textbook on
Yeah,
how
this
to,
is-
it's just an
This
incredible
is
present.
set up amazing,
Yes.
so, good job.
Thank you.
David, can I ask a question?
Yes.
I was just starting to look through the document a little bit. On page 17 where we do the goals, I just had two follow-up questions. One was on goal 12.1. I know we had talked about this at the last meeting and I was remote, so maybe I misheard the date. But in all boards committees, is it March 21st, or was it supposed to be a later date than that, like something in May or so? Because it says March 21st, and I wasn't sure if that was right.
No, it wasn't.
It's May 16th. Okay.
So change that to May.
Thank you, Johnny. So that's just 12.1 on that. And then the other piece, I was looking through the minutes of the meeting that we did where we came up with the goals. And the last goal that we don't seem to have on here, and I was just wondering, or maybe I missed it, was about the budget department. That would be a nice department to have, wouldn't it? The building department. I think my notes here on the minutes had said, another goal saying something about working on the building department, whether it's reworking our agreement with Gardner or hiring our own building commissioner as one of the goals. I just wasn't sure if that's in there and I missed it, or if that was accidentally omitted, or if there was a train of thought behind that.
So, to touch on a couple of things, on page 29, you'll find the open issues that are not resolved by this budget.
That's the date. It was May
May
11th.
11th.
It's May 11th, Heather, that, all joints meeting at 6:30.
Yep. So with respect to the building department, we have added a part-time assistant in order to take some of the pressure off of the one person who's working full-time in the building department. I know that there's ongoing discussions with the city of Gardner about whether or not to continue with the intermunicipal agreement. This is still very much an unsettled question. So there has to be some sort of resolution on that issue.
Do you want me to talk about going to speak with the mayor?
Sure.
Okay, so Heather, to follow up on that, I went and had a meeting with the mayor last week, about this, and talked with him about pretty much follow up on the same thing that I talked with him the first go around about the issues we're having in the building department, the lack of follow through, the lack of the same lists that I brought him still hasn't been touched, and also about whether or not Gardner is even interested in redoing this contract with fixing it. And yeah, so he's going to have a chat, I guess, with Roland again, and he is also under the impression that we were going to follow through with a redo of this contract. Obviously fixing it with things that both sides do not like, and I went over some of the things that I hear on both sides that people don't like. So basically I kind of put it to him as him and Ryan can work on it via email while he's overseas to see if we can hash out a plan that's going to work in a timely fashion, because realistically the time is coming up. If they can figure out something, great, and bring it back to us. If they can't, then at least we'll know, but realistically we got 3 months. So I did talk to Ryan about it, and also Dan, and Dan and Ryan were both fine with that. So they're going to, the mayor and Ryan are gonna try to hash something out and fix stuff, supposedly. I told them I didn't wanna come back for a third time for the same issue. So, and I said some other things that probably I'm not gonna repeat in this meeting, cause they were Katie words, and not appropriate. So, but anyway, yeah. So that's where that stands. So hopefully things can get resolved rather quickly this go around. If not, I will go back and see the mayor again in another week or two, and we'll have another third party conversation.
Thanks, Katie.
Yeah,
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Are the residents of Gardner facing the same challenges that we're facing here?
No.
So there's no issues from the Gardner side of the whole situation, it's just the Hubbardson side of the situation?
it's not even the whole it's not, so there's people that come here for different building aspects like plumbing, electrical, and basic. I've had them, they've come to my garage numerous times, never had one problem. It's not those guys. There's one problem.
Is that one problem exist in Gardner, like it exists in
No.
Hubbardston?
Not that I'm aware of, nor have I heard from any of the other people that run businesses in Gardner that I know have ever had issues.
And the mayor's never gotten any complaints about it?
I can't say he's never gotten a complaint,
Right,
because it's a building department, you're gonna get complaints because people are not gonna be happy with what you say.
Nothing like we're experiencing?
Yeah, not the lack of communication or having determinations that are still not done from last June. No, not to my knowledge. I could be wrong, but not to my knowledge.
Do you think the mayor is taking us seriously in terms of?
Yeah, I do, I
In
don't,
dealing with the problem,
yeah,
the one
I-
problem.
he did have a conversation with them.
Mhm.
Cause when I went out there that morning, Mallory had contact with Roland that morning, and I said, that's the first time though, he hasn't, even though I came out here, like 3 weeks before that, prior to that, a month prior to that, there's been nothing, and he's like, absolutely nothing. I said, no,
Mhm.
absolutely nothing. So, I'm not sure, yeah, how he's gonna deal with it, but again, that's not my problem to deal with, that's his problem right now to deal with. That's part of the problem with the contract. There is, and I made that abundantly clear the first time around, was I have no resource to deal with this other than come here and sit in this office and complain to you, which is ridiculous. That's not how this should work. We need to have some kind of recourse in order to deal with these situations that doesn't have me have to make an appointment to come see you. Or one of the other board members, I just happen to have the time. And I have no problems going down there and sitting there and chatting with him.
Sounds more like.
Did we have we heard back from Mallory? Cause I thought when we had met as a group with the planning board on this, Mallory was gonna look in and see, we were starting to converse about the potential if we had to or wanted to pull on a full-time building inspector or commissioner, the cost and the field and who's available and so forth.
She has a temporary fix, and I sent that to, I think, Dan, along with Ryan, that she does have a temporary person that's willing to step in temporary if everything goes to hell and we just can't get it done. Long term though, that's not a long-term fix. So she does know some people, but it also depends on the budget, on what we would be able to pay on that, because these people don't come cheap either. So that
Well,
kind
I
of,
know it's,
go ahead.
I know this isn't on the agenda tonight, but it comes relevant again, and this is why we've been talking about this, is because we're in the budget season, so this is the time where we have to figure out what we're doing, and my reservations still remain the fact that nothing has currently changed, so I'm not excited about the future prospects of continuing the same way we are, and I'm getting worried that we're getting closer to having to have our budget done, balanced, and we don't have a plan for, or maybe, I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know if the right answer is we just budget or try to budget for if we had to pay for someone as a full-time inspector, and then we try to work with Gardner, and if it doesn't work, we can go out for one, just so that we have the money in the coffers. I'm just worried we're not gonna have a different result with Gardner than we've already had.
Yeah, that's where Ryan came in with the possibility of suggestion of maybe it'd be a dollar incentive on our end, somehow like ties on, and he'd have to, again, whoever is working on the contract with Gardner would have to figure this out on how to word it correctly and work it, but it might be an incentivized kind of contract In other words, you know, you show up, you do your stuff, you get paid. You don't show up, you don't do your stuff, you don't, you know, that carrot. Cause that's
Is
how,
it possible,
go ahead.
is it possible for us to put this on the next agenda to follow up on the building piece? I just wanna make sure we have a plan and we know where we're going.
I don't know how far they would have gotten between Ryan and, but yeah.
Can we put it on for the 21st?
Yeah, go ahead, but to Katie's point, I mean, we can't control what Gardner is doing either, you know, and this
Well,
is
yeah, how fast this
his
is going
schedule.
along, yeah.
It seems to me it's like a question of priorities in terms of the individual.
Well, and that was the other, yeah, that's the biggest, it's mostly falls on one person.
Yeah.
But it's also how fast can Ryan and the mayor come up with a new game plan
Yeah.
that fixes these problems, that we don't have these same pitfalls, you know?
The reason I was mentioning that, I was thinking back several years when, shortly after Dan and I got on the board, one of the things that we were considering at the time, which we opted not to do, was with what Rutland and DPW and sharing some equipment and individuals. And a similar discussion came up, because I remember presenting it saying that you can't be a servant of two masters.
Yeah.
And this, I think, is very similar to that. He's Gardner oriented, et cetera, but we expect what we're paying for and we're not getting it, and his priorities are obviously Gardner, to answer questions that you gave Chris, and since Gardner is not having any problems with him, so it's,
Well,
this is that to me, that's the problem. It's
no, the
working for
problem
two
is
bosses.
no, that's not, their problem is they did not get any incentive to take on Hubbardston. There was no pay for them to up, they look at it as they got more work and no added pay. But that was on the Gardner side that we had no control over, because that is their, you know, yeah.
But if that is also the case, why isn't it coming to us from Gardner, where they basically saying to us, we think we probably should sever it, because we're not really seeing the need enough coming from us in our direction. I'm surprised that they're not thinking of cutting off the agreement.
Well, the building department, if you talk to the guys, it's already done, but that's a total separate, they'll tell
Yeah.
you they're not coming back.
Yeah.
But that's not their decision, it's,
Right, it's a Gardner issue, it has to be handled on the
Yeah.
Gardner side of things. It's in the mayor's hands, how he wants to handle it, you know, how difficult, you know, stern he wants to be with this guy is gonna dictate where we go.
Yep.
So we just got, to, you know, Heather's point, we need to know that before we set this budget in place to see what we gotta do to help ourselves, so. If he's gonna let one bad apple over there ruin the relationship, then that's what's gonna happen. All the other, you know, inspectors in that agreement are working fine, right, from what I hear you saying?
they show up, they do what they're supposed to do, they're not happy with the situation either, but they do their job. I will never fault the others, they show up and they do it.
From a budget point of view, what kind of money would we have to be putting aside supposedly for the inspector building?
Well, if you're gonna do a full-time inspector with your assessed valuation, you should be thinking something on the order of $70,000.
And do we have that?
It would have to come from somewhere.
We'd have to cut, cause you've got a nice even balanced budget now.
Yeah.
And now 70 is not a small,
The question is, do we have the finances, A, and B, do we have the need? Do we have a need for a
that kind of work
full-time
for,
building inspector? I mean, seriously?
Cause they come out 2 days a week.
Yeah.
But there's 4 of them, total. But it's also, they come out after lunch usually, 2 days a week.
but to your
You have
point,
the electrical, plumbing, building,
I'm not
and then you
Irish,
have
so I don't wanna
the,
say it.
the head honcho, who does like the commercial stuff. The stuff that doesn't fall under, so like the strip, the storage units that are going in, he goes and does that. Roland does the determinations and that kind of stuff, but Rick does all the buildings, and garages and things like that, the regular house stuff. And then you have, the plumbing and the electrical. So.
Well, I think, obviously, we have to find out what Gardner's gonna, decision.
Yeah, we need an answer, we need an answer from the mayor, and we have to decide if we trust that
We're
answer,
stuck right now, yeah.
and how we wanna handle that answer.
Well, I'm hoping that within the next week or two, we'll see a difference, and if we don't, I can also, like I said, follow up and be like, you know, go back out there again. Like, this hasn't changed, how is this going to change
No.
if we do this again? This is,
Oh, no,
this is
but-
not okay.
More reason maybe to have it on our next meeting, so that
Yeah.
it becomes a discussion issue, and we can make a decision ourselves of saying, okay, nothing's changed, we gotta make a decision for ourselves and go in that direction.
The only other thing, and I know I raised this last time, but I just wanna make sure it's on everyone's radar, is just remember that, you know, in renegotiating the contract, if we were to do that, if we were to keep the contract the same, where we have the 45,900 for revenue, we would have to pretty much subtract most of that. Cause remember, the way the contract currently is written, they would get all the building permit fees unless it's over 2,500 per permit, and then it's negotiated one-on-one. So I just wanna remind everybody, including the finance committee, that this contract, the reason we need to figure this out is this also affects our revenue side. So we would actually end up reducing that down pretty much to nothing and potentially increasing the expense cost as well. So I just wanna put that out there.
Where would we find a copy of that contract to take a look?
It's on the
Susan,
website.
I can send you a copy, I have it.
Susan, David said it's on the website.
Is it? Okay, great.
So on the website, on the town administrator's page.
Okay, super.
Okay. All right, any other, discussion or questions concerning the, booklet? Heather, anything else?
No, good point.
No, I think that's it for right now.
All right, thank you. And again, there's no action we're gonna be taking on this, so do you gentlemen have anything else that you need? Okay.
So tomorrow, the Quabbin Regional School District releases their budget on their website at noon. And then they have their public hearing on Thursday. So we'll find out in
Ready to take
short
it in the
order how
channel.
close I came to the mark. The other open issues other than the building services are Montechusets School District still needs to get their budget in front of the public. Rutland Regional Dispatch is still working on its budget, and the budget that I've presented here reflects a discount of about $50,000 annual income spread out among the 5 members of the district. The fire department contract still needs to be finalized, and there's been some changes to that. And capital planning may be adjusted as more infrastructure comes from the state and federal sources. And then there's the whole transition between me and Ryan, so Ryan will be back on May 2nd.
And something you mentioned to me this morning, about the Rutland Dispatch, if it keeps getting dragged out, we're gonna lose money on this, as will they, but we're gonna lose money if they don't start digging now.
Yeah, is there a plan on, date for them to start digging?
No,
Of course not.
'Cause
Snow
he's-
is melted. Get out there.
David said he's gonna call the
Okay.
Rutland town administrator to
yeah, I think that's what we have to do, is
Yeah.
that the director of the
Light a
dispatch
fire.
is not.
Am I gonna have to go down there next and pay a visit? Like, Jesus. Somebody's gotta start paying me gas money, that's all I know. At $4 a gallon.
Alright, so that's it for the presentation, correct?
That's all I have for right
Alright.
now.
Is there anything else for the finance committee tonight, Susan?
I think that's it for now. I will be in touch with everyone to schedule meetings now that we have a budget, and that will happen after we get the March 10th Quabbin budget reveal.
Then do you want to, adjourn your meeting?
Yes, we're all set now. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Susan
Aye.
votes yes.
Yes. Thank you, gentlemen,
Thank
and
you.
thanks,
Thank you.
Susan.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, then, we'll just wait a second, we'll give you a chance to.
Skedaddle.
Have a good night, thank you
Good
again.
night.
All right, good night, Joe.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item 6, old business, Route 68 update, David?
So Tony has been doing the heavy lifting on this. Tony and I have been preparing the documents that have to be mailed to the abutters of the Route 68 project here in the center of town. The people who are gonna have to give up some easements, either permanent easements or temporary easements. So we have letters going out to the residents and businesses, and that'll start happening tomorrow. We have to give them 30 days in which to review the information that we're presenting to them. And part of the information that we're gonna deliver is an offer, a dollar amount, based upon the appraisals of the property. A dollar amount for the loss of their use of the property or the loss of the property, whether it's a temporary easement or a permanent easement. They have 30 days to review that and accept it or have questions for us. That if we keep on that schedule, then we can have the select board on April 11th do the order of taking, and that way we keep this project moving forward in time for the bids to go out with Mass DOT. There's $5.5 million of state and federal money that's going to be supporting this project. And you know, if we don't have our offers and orders taken in this particular sequence, then we stand a chance of losing that $5.5 million to another outfit, another town that's ready to go. And it may
Which
be
would be a
several
real
years
shame
before
after
we
all
see that
these-
money come
these,
around
you know.
again for the town of Hubbardston. So if I feel like I'm keeping to a time schedule, it's because I am.
Good,
Um,
we appreciate it.
so-
What, can you give me an example of a temporary easement? What would be a
Temporary easement would be a construction easement, so the staging of materials or use of the property for equipment or access. And it would be allowed for 3 years, and then the property reverts back to the owner.
Very good.
Question, David.
Sir?
Mike Stahl, 5 Lombard Road. David, if you don't get the easements, whether they be permanent or temporary construction, will you still go out for bid? Won't do it concurrently?
No, if we don't have the easements, then the project can't go forward.
Okay. I've seen it where they do go concurrently, but there may be some restrictions based on the state and whatnot, but,
Yeah, it's my understanding that if you don't have the easements worked out, then the Department of Transportation will not endorse the project. And that fund, the monies reserved for the town of Hubbardston will be repurposed to some other town.
it's certainly better to have everything up front and done.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's just not possible, so potentially you could have one holdout that could submarine the whole project for us.
Well, we hope that day doesn't occur, but I.
But it could, that's the point. All it takes is one, the way you've explained it to me.
Yeah, I think that the town would probably want to think very seriously about eminent domain in that
Okay.
situation.
And then that has a timeline too, that's gotta fit in there.
I've never done one, so that would be, it would be a journey of discovery for me.
Okay.
Let's hope we don't need to.
No, let's not take that ride.
Yeah.
No.
So there's probably gonna be questions that you're gonna be receiving, and you know, we're all neighbors here, we're trying to do the best thing for the town. We've taken care of the north end of Route 68, we've taken care of the south end of Route 68. The middle section needs a lot of work, and it'd be good for the town to have an improved road in the center, and it would be a way of making the town more attractive for people to come visit, spend money here, and
A sidewalk you don't break your ankle on,
yeah,
you know,
the
that'd be
sidewalk
nice.
that you don't break your ankle on.
Absolutely. Well, let's hope we get the results we need once these letters go out. Anything else in regard to Route 68?
Tony, did I leave anything out?
I think that was it.
Yeah, I think that's it. And thank you for all the work that you did on that, it's a lot of paperwork.
Thank you, Tony.
Tony loves paperwork, she does.
Heather, you have any questions? Are you all set on this?
I'm good.
Okay, then we'll move on to item 7, the town administrator report.
We met last week, so not a whole lot has gone on except for the budget and the Route 68. I did receive the revenues for February. You're looking really good. You're expected to bring in about 66% of your revenues at this point. You're at 77.6%, so you're looking strong in terms of your
The
revenues.
tax deadline is hitting us, right? Property
For-
tax for that cycle too.
Property tax already came through, it's excise tax on the
Excise,
fourth,
yeah.
on the 14th.
Yeah.
And pilot payments are coming in.
Right. Okay,
Anything going on with pot? The pot places, they
Yeah,
got
I
any
got
plants
some,
in
I
the
got
grounds
some
or something?
emails from the 2 pot places that they're renewing their permits with the state.
Okay.
And they require a statement from the town. I haven't had a chance to review that. I know one outfit is not growing currently, and so therefore is not generating any revenue. And the other outfit is maybe generating some revenue, and I need to send a letter to them.
Okay.
anything else on the town administrator report, or any questions? Any questions over there? Okay, alright, then we will, go to item 8. We don't have any policies to review, do we?
Not today.
Okay. Item 9, matters not reasonably anticipated by the chair, there's nothing that I am made aware of. Does anybody have anything before we, okay, no one from the public or press questions, any more questions, sir? Okay, in which case,
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
motion made.
Second
to adjourn.
it.
Second, meeting is adjourned.